Hey guys, Robert Stout. We're here at the Thermal Club and more importantly the BMW Performance Driving School here today. We're utilizing our GT4 cars for our GT4 experience out on the South Palm circuit this morning. The first thing we're going to start doing is getting a good introduction to the internals of the car, everything from how we want to start getting in, how light these carbon fiber doors are, go over everything we're going to utilize with these channels, switches, buttons that we have. That way everybody's comfortable, ready to go grab gears and have a good time out on the track. So first thing, whenever it comes to getting in this, the door is very light to begin with, right? So we don't want to be using this for support as we climb in and out of the car. When it does come to getting in the car, there's a few solid things that we have here, right? We have this upright here, we've got the roll bar above, as well as the top of the seat. So we can use any of these as we continue to get in. Traditionally, the easiest way to do this would be to go both feet first, right? So I'm going to grab these. Even if you want to step in the seat, that's fine. With both left foot and right foot before we sit on this roll bar, at which point we'll swing our hips into the seat and then our shoulders and our head follow. At this point we do have cam style seat belts here, so obviously once it plugs straight in, if it's up and down to the cam lock, it clicks straight in, we're good. To release that, twist it 90 degrees, all belts will come undone at that point for a quick exit. The pedal box again does move, not the seat. So if we need to move the pedal box, we're just going to take our left arm and go directly between the roll bar and the seat to grab this T handle right here. Once we grab this, you won't really feel a click or anything, but you'll just apply pressure pulling back on it, and then use your heels to kind of pull the pedal box towards you a little bit, and that will free it up to move as far as you feel like you need. Release the T handle, we're locked in place. At that point, I'll put the steering wheel on, it's reaching forward. I do not need to pull on the lock to put it on. I just need to line it up straight. Once it's on, give it a little tug, make sure we're good, all is well. Again, this adjusts with this lever here, up, down, in, out. This is how much adjustment we have to work with for the steering column. Lock it back in place once you're done with that. So at this point, we've got belts on, we've got our pedals and our steering wheel where we want it all to be. Go ahead and stand around so you can see these buttons a little bit more here. First thing I'll do is change this dash display. We have a few different ones we toggle through. There we go. Again, you'll notice you're a little lower, you're a little farther back than you are in the street car. And then again, that pedal is very firm. It doesn't move more than an inch or so as I continue to apply pressure. And in the bottom center of our dash, you'll see a small number that says bar beside it. And again, we're looking for, give or take, roughly 55 to 60 bar before we'd have ABS engagement, right? Depending on the scenario, of course. So it'd be a good quick appliance to the brake to get near that, slowly bleeding off from there. It's a little different from a street car, but becomes very, very comfortable to utilize on track once you get a couple laps under your belt and start getting familiar with it.
If we're not comfortable enough with left foot braking.
Oh, absolutely. More than welcome to use your right foot for braking. Yep, no issue at all.
Not going to set a lap time, you know.
We do need to use the paddle shifters, and this car does not have an automatic setting. We're not going to get to the steering wheel just yet. We're going to go in order, chronological order of what you will need. Top right, we have the same start-stop button as the street car, and it's used the same way. If we're applying pressure to the brakes, we hit the button, it will fire the engine, as well as turn it off. Feet off the pedals, it controls auxiliary for everything on and off. So obviously you would fire the engine, you're just gonna go straight diagonally down. You're gonna go down to the AC, you'll want that next. You turn that on, it'll light up blue once the AC is on. From there, we'll go right down to this middle toggle, this rubber boot that we have here. And this is simply for your left and right mirror. And there's a small toggle switch underneath, obviously, to adjust the side mirrors. These will become pretty important because we obviously do not have a rear view mirror to utilize. So the left and right mirror become fairly important in that regard. Otherwise, fog, rains, all this stuff, we don't need to worry about today, obviously. We go to these two toggle switches up at the top. It says FDS for the one on the right. Essentially, it's changing fuel mapping, more comparable to going between Sport and Sport Plus with the throttle on the street car, is essentially what this is doing by toggling it up or toggling it down. Whenever you do that, you'll realize this light on the right says FDS will toggle between green and blue back to green. Green is the base setting, blue is the sportier setting. It's a very mild change. It's hardly noticeable.
And that's the map.
Fuel mapping, essentially. Yeah, so how quick the throttle is responding to your input, right? DSC, just like the streetcar. If we have wet in the bottom left, that means DSC is on. If I toggle this switch up, it goes to dry, which is essentially like an MDM. Up again, it turns completely off. The light will adjust red if it's off, blue if it's dry, green if it's wet. It doesn't say now because we're not running, but once the car is moving, it will update itself. So that's what we're taking a look at. In regards to the dash, we will have shift lights. So as we go through, I think I get the colors confused all the time, but I believe it's yellow on both outside edges. That comes to orange, that goes to red in the center. After that, it will start flashing red. Once we go yellow, orange, red, we want to upshift. If we see the flashing red, it means we should have already been grabbing the gear. It's telling you, hey, go ahead and do that. Take care of the upshift. Other than that, in regards to buttons, we do have the fire button all the way down here. It's good to know more than anything because we don't want to hit it and set this off on accident. That will put the car out of commission for the day. That's why I put a little sticker over it. With that said, if there is any kind of an emergency where the car is, for whatever reason, something's happening, catching on fire, first priority is get out of the vehicle. Do not worry about the button. Get yourself out and safe. The button should be an afterthought. Again, stock street transmission, so you'll fire it, do those 3 settings, you'll tap it to the right to put it in drive. We use the paddle shifters from there on out. As you're going around the track, if you have any issues, concerns, maybe there's some red warning lights, something you're unfamiliar with on the course, you can radio to not just the instructor, but the entire group will be able to hear. You can hit this top white button on the top left of the steering wheel. It says radio right beside it. Whenever you go to use it, you want to cue it, wait a moment, and then begin to speak. That way it doesn't cut off the first few words. Other than that, we have the 2 green buttons left and right are simply blinkers, turn signals. Windshield wiper we won't have to use in thermal California today. Pit speed limiter is wrapped in this little casing so that you do not accidentally hit it while you're full speed lapping, because if you drop below the threshold, which I believe is set at 35 miles an hour, it will limit you to that 35 mile an hour. We do not have a drink bottle in the car, but this is the button we'd use for it, and this bottom red simply scrolls through a few of the different dash pages. We currently have it set for the driver's dash page right now. So all we are concerned about as drivers, start, stop, AC mirrors, and the top left radio button. Once we come to a stop, you can put it in park or just simply put it in neutral. Once you're at a stop, it's a pretty flat land. You'll shut the engine off, get your feet off the brakes, and from there we'll start climbing out of the car. First thing we'll do is take the steering wheel off. Try not to do it like this. It's hard to do it because they get pretty snug on there. Go top and bottom of the wheel. Use your thumbs here. That way when you pull back on this lever and pull it off, you don't pop yourself in the mouth with it, right? Simply set the steering wheel like so, directly in front of us, at which point I would again turn this cam lock all the way to the side. I can begin to get out. The way I do it is I just reach forward, put my hand above my head, I swing my shoulders and head out, same way, reverse of how I got in, and then my hips follow, and you can step right out of it. Simple as that.